Welcome to Chick Chat with Unapologetically Karen, the podcast for women by women. I'm Karen Webb, architect, author, entrepreneur, creative junkie, and your host. Chick Chat is your resource for building your big, bold, and beautiful feminine life. So join me for some eye-opening and jaw-dropping dialogue that has people talking. Hello, welcome back to Chick Chat, everybody. So happy you are here. And this is our beginning, our launch of our new series on Chick Chat, where we are going to be diving into the world of design. And this series is called Life Beautifully Built. Okay, what in the world do I mean by life beautifully built? Because it is my tagline, it is my motto in life. It is what I live by. All right. So I probably should explain it. So Life Beautifully Built is, of course, it's my brand. It's my philosophy, but it's about intertwining the art of architecture and interior design with the essence of living a really fulfilled, big, elevated life. Okay. So it's about living life with gusto through beauty and aesthetics and creating a life that is not only beautiful, but that touches your soul, that is fulfilling, that aligns with your passion and your purpose on this world. So let's dive in to how does design affect us? Okay. So, you might be thinking, well, yeah, whatever. Yes, I know when I walk into a nice place, a nice building, a nice space, I can feel it. But, it doesn't really affect me that much. It is so important. It actually seeps right into our skin. Let me tell you. So I have this very strong belief, which is really why I went into architecture to begin with, that our surroundings, where we live, where we work, our surroundings, our spaces, right? Especially our homes, but our workspaces, our spaces that we are living in, our surroundings truly impact us because they have the ability to make us feel happy. They have the ability to make us feel comfort, to make us feel tranquility or beauty. Spaces that are well designed and that have that design aesthetic can be healing. They can be a kind of sanctity or refuge. They have such an impact on our emotions, our behaviors, our memories, our insights, and our overall well-being, our overall quality of life. So if you can imagine, you can go through life kind of just passively, going along your day, right? Kind of just in the daily grind, just in it, making ends meet, having fun socially, getting out, whatever. But when you get home or in your space of work, whatever your surroundings are, when you're there, it just, you kind of don't get an extra uplift, or you don't get an extra feeling of, now this feels nice, right? That is what good design can do. It can literally take how you feel and elevate it. And so for me, when we take our everyday spaces and we bring good quality design that is thoughtful, right? That is, well thought out, sensitive to how human beings feel, sensitive to our human nature and what it is that we need as human beings. Because there's a lot of things that we thrive on. We thrive on tranquility. We thrive on feeling expansive and uplifted and light. Those things really impact our soul. And when you walk into a space like that, it has the ability to take your everyday blasé thing and make it better. It has the ability to take what could be so ordinary and make it extraordinary. And I live by that. So I'm hoping that through this whole series that I'm able to share with you a little bit of that, and that you can take this notion of life beautifully built and apply it to your life. Because good design doesn't have to be expensive. Good design doesn't have to be just for the elite. Good design doesn't have to be such a far stretch that you feel it will never come to you. I want to make it accessible to you. So I'm going to share with you my design tips, my ways of designing that bring that notion of a life beautifully built to your life so that it can uplift you and it can better your or improve your overall quality of life. Doesn't that sound good? All right. I'm so glad you're here. So I've always kind of said, I've always believed that a well-designed space that's thoughtful, that's designed with the right textures, the right colors, the right juxtaposition of elements, the right composition, that it's truly an art. And it's sort of applying that artistic nature to our everyday surroundings. And that's where it becomes so powerful because that's when it has the ability to affect our mood, our behavior, our thoughts, how we feel, and how we experience our day to day. And, I'm sure you've been in spaces where you go, yes, there's something about this space that feels powerful or it resonates for me, or I'm just getting a different feeling or vibe when I'm in here. That's what I'm talking about, right? And because good or great design is timeless. You've got styles come, styles go. Trends are here, then they're gone. But good design that takes into account all the elements and combines them in a meaningful and powerful way, that is timeless. That can be an experience that is timeless because it will shape our thoughts and it will shape our emotions. And I always like to say that it's about creating unforgettable spaces, because if it's a space that is well designed, that you get that emotional connection with, that it conjures up a feeling for you, then the designer of that space has done well. They have reached out through their design and touched you, right? They've touched your soul. They've touched your mind. They have left an impact. They have made an unforgettable space. And the power of that is remarkable. So we're going to try through this to give you some of those tips. I'm going to try to share with you how to bring it into your life. All right. So one of the first things that is super important, and we'll talk about that one today, is good design usually, or I pretty much say always, it always has to do with engaging your five senses. It has to do with something beautiful to look at. It has to do with the sound of the space. It has to do with the way the light comes in the space so you can see it a certain way. It has to do with all of your senses. And once a design, a space has connected and made an impact or influenced your senses, it's finding its way into your psyche. And it will have the ability to really move you, to create an emotional connection, to conjure up an emotion. And that's when the space can uplift you, elevate you, take an ordinary day and make it extraordinary. Let's talk about some examples. So maybe some of you are really great cooks or you just love cooking. Okay. My husband is that. Thank you, Jeff, because I'm telling you, the man feeds me well. He always has delicious dinners for us. But so let's say you're one of those. So it's not necessarily me, but let's say you're one of those people that just loves to, cook. It's your way of sharing love with your family. It's your way of expressing yourself. It's your creative outlet. You just love it. Now, let's imagine you're in this tiny kitchen, not well lit. It's kind of dim, right? It's kind of like the the light feels a little dim. So you're sitting there with your cutting board, cutting up your beautiful vegetables, and hard to see, right? Not as crisp and bright as you'd like. It doesn't feel light filled and airy. Let's imagine too that it feels cluttered, right? Like you're trying to put your cutting board barely on the counter between the sink and the cooktop, and you don't have enough room and you're kind of squished in the corner there. So it doesn't feel like it is well planned, right? And it doesn't take into account your needs, right? It's kind of ignoring your need, which is for some space to stretch out, spread it all out, to really do your fabulous, Emerald Lagasse bam, right? So it may not feel well lit. It doesn't have sunshine pouring in. Now that's one type of kitchen, right? So you can imagine how your experience will be of cooking in that kitchen, right? It's going to be okay. You're going to have the smells of the food. That's all good. But you're not going to see the bright colors and of the red bell pepper and the yellow bell pepper next to, you know, um, the crispness of the lettuce. And I don't know, I'm getting carried away clearly, but you can imagine that experience. Now, let's switch it to a different space. You're still doing the same cooking. You're still making that same recipe, right? You're still with the same ingredients. But now that space is a big open kitchen with a nice size island, and the sunshine streams in through so many windows, and the ceiling height is high and gives you a feeling of expansion, not constriction. And it's laid out in such a way that you have a huge island where you can do all your chopping, and maybe the veggie sink is right there for you. It's in the perfect spot, so you feel like your needs are handled, right? Your needs have been taken into account. So it makes you feel thought of, and it makes your experience very different. And maybe let's say you've got a window open, so you're feeling the cool breeze coming in. The lighting is great, and maybe there's a nice skylight that has glass that is tinted, or low E glass, so you're not feeling the heat, but you're feeling this beautiful sky above you, and you feel uplifted. And now you're cooking in that kitchen. That sounds glorious to me, right? Like, what a difference. So same activity you're doing, same task, same, steps to what you're doing. You're still cooking the same thing, but your experiences are like night and day. And that is where the power of good design comes in. It has so much strength in its ability to transform your experience, to make it one way or another. So what are some of the things that I think make design great? One, probably the biggest, is the sense of light filling a space. I always say, so this is a good tip right here. Two directions of light in any space makes that quality of light so much better. So, I mean, like, let's say you've got windows coming in from one side. If you also have a window, and it could be in the adjacent room, but that sunlight's pouring in from another direction, that quality of that space of the light will be that much better. It sort of has a more dimension to it. So and you can think about that because, light or sunshine coming from a northerly direction is very different from a southern direction. The southern direction is the hottest part of the sun is coming towards you. It's sunny all day long. The north is like morning light. East and north is morning light. It's not as hot and direct. It's definitely a cooler kind of color. The light is. So you can tell that, a light filled space, that's one. That's my biggest. And to me, being in a space that is not light filled is because it has such an impact on me. Clearly, it's what I do for a living. I've been looking at this and feeling this forever. I've always been affected by the spaces I'm in. So if it's not light filled, it's just depressing for me. I just can't even be in that space for very long. It just doesn't feel expansive enough. It feels very constricted and very depressing. In fact, like when it becomes dusk, my husband knows this. I have to put lights on. I don't like the feeling of that light at dusk. Yes, a sunset, gorgeous. But in the house, for example, it starts to get dim. It feels a hint dreary. It doesn't feel light filled. And I've got to start putting on some lights in the house. So that's one thing. That's probably the biggest. Another thing is the layout. The layout helps you feel that your task has been thought of, right? You doing that task has been thought of, and how you will kind of move through that task. The space is aligned with it. The space gets it, right? So it knows that a space that's well designed is going to be where, let's say, yeah, that veggie sink is right there and you're chopping, and the trash can is in close proximity, right? And the cooktop is, so you can take all those chopped veggies and put them into a pan, to saute, let's say, right there. It's all thought of. You're not walking all the way across the kitchen, then backtracking over here, and then shoot, the trash can's over there. It's well thought of, right? So a good layout, light filling that space. Height is the next one. Height is so important. And I would say my two biggest is a light filled space really matters to me, really affects me, but also the height of the ceiling. That's crucial. And you may think it doesn't affect you that much, but take note when you walk into a space. Take note when you walk into a space that has a high ceiling and what that feels like. And take note when you walk into a space that has like an 8-foot ceiling and what that feels like. One's going to feel very restricted. You don't feel like you want to stand up as straight and reach your hands up to the heavens. It's just a little restrictive, right? The high ceiling, tall volume space just has this feeling of being uplifted and expansive. So you feel like I can breathe deeper. I can feel the volume of the air in that space, right? It gives you a sense of freedom and not of restriction. So those are probably the biggies. Then, of course, you've got other things that affect our mood and how we experience a space. You've got color and texture, huge. I am a big, big, big fan of a palette of very different textures, of different materials that bring in that give you a sense of touch, right? Because that's one of the senses. Again, we're talking about all these senses really of that the space is connecting with all of your senses, right? So you feel the light coming in. You also how that space, sometimes the ceiling height makes the biggest difference for how the things sound in that space. But also the textures then give us this tactile sense. How are the touch points there? Like, does it feel like nubby and cushy and cozy? Does it feel sleek and thin? What are the feelings of the different textures? And the combination of them is super important, right? So like the combo of a nubby, textured chair next to a leather couch. So you're combining things. How you're juxtaposing those is really important. And color has such, there's a whole study of color psychology, and colors have different effects on us, on our mood and on our thinking and on our feeling. So which colors you're putting together. Are you doing a very monochromatic one color room or space, which gives one sense versus a combination of 2 or 3 colors? Those are all different ways that the space will affect us. And those are all really important when it comes to design. So there you have it, my friends. We have just embarked on some super important, but just the surface of how to really create a life beautifully built. And I hope that you will send me your questions, send me your, what thoughts you have about this. But I can tell you, if you put some effort into creating a space that you love, your life will be different. You will feel the difference. You will experience a change. And the first thing it does is it tells you, hey, you know what? You're worth it. It's like the best sense or way of self-care. It's worth it for you to have an aesthetically beautiful space. That matters. You matter. And how you experience this life, which we've got one, just one, how you experience it will make all the difference. You know, I've had clients where we've done even just one room for them, let's say a bathroom, and the way they experience that every single day gives them tranquility, or it gives them a sense of expansiveness. And that's from good design. All right. So I am going to leave you with that. And remember that good design has the ability to not only shape our environment, but has the ability to shape our life's overall quality and overall life enjoyment, right? It's got the ability to transform your ordinary to extraordinary. Remember to subscribe. You don't want to miss an episode. We will still be having our other Chick Chat guests, but you will also be getting the series Life Beautifully Built. I hope you enjoy it. Take care. Thanks for listening to this first episode of Life Beautifully Built. So did you enjoy the podcast? Well, if you did, don't go anywhere. I've got something really special for you. Let me ask you, do you ever walk into a room and feel like something's missing and you can't put your finger on it? Or maybe you've tried to create a design or recreate one from something you saw online or in a magazine and it just doesn't work? Or maybe you browse home goods and you bring home some items, but you're like, it just doesn't all go together. What is my vibe? So I've got the answer for you. I'm Karen Otis-Webb, architect, interior designer, and the creator of a brand spanking new mini course called Discover Your Unique Home Design Style. And I am here to help you unlock the secrets to designing a space that truly reflects who you are, what you like, and what your vibe is. Designing a home isn't just about picking out the furniture and the paint colors. It's really about creating a space that resonates with your soul, a space where you feel comfortable, inspired, completely at ease, your sanctuary. But here's the thing. Your design style is as unique as you are, and it's time you discover what makes your space truly yours. That way, you'll know exactly what to go out and purchase without wasting your money. You'll know exactly how to pull together the items so you get a full vibe and style as opposed to a mishmash of different items. In this course, Discover Your Unique Home Design Style, I'm going to guide you through a series of exercises and discussions, some really great strategies that will help you identify what speaks to you, what inspires you, and how you can bring those elements into your home. Each day, we're going to dive deeper into different aspects of design, everything from color schemes and color theory and textures to furniture placement and materials. And if you want to take it even a step further, you should join our VIP group. Here you'll get an extra 30-minute group session with me after each lesson. It's a 5-day course. It's your chance to ask specific questions if you're in this VIP group. You get personalized feedback and you can connect with others who are on the same journey as you are. So whether you're looking to refresh your current space or design a brand new space from scratch, this course will give you the tools and the most needed confidence that you need to create a space that feels authentically you. So what are you waiting for? Let's get started on designing a life beautifully built, starting with your home. Sign up today and start your journey to discovering your unique home design style. Your perfect space is just waiting for you. You can sign up by going to our website, www.otiswebbstudio.com. That's OTISWEBB studio.com. You'll find the mini course under the courses tab, and it'll explain everything we're going to be doing, the dates that we're doing it, and how you can sign up. And I will see you in the course.